Hey friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got another SRM Knives knife for you today. This is the SRM Twin, model number 251MB-, and then there's two letters depending on which colorway that you get. There's four main colorways that you can get this thing, and stores across the world have this, but you can also go straight to srmknives.com and get it directly from there. I've got links for that down below. You can use the code CCE and get 10% off at SRM Knives. And I've got links for some other countries, some odd places: Ukraine, Malaysia. I got some Germany, United Kingdom. Did I say that? UK. Places that have this, not available in any Canadian store that I know of, unfortunately. But if you're interested in a little stabby knife, check this video out. I'm going to do a full review, including a teardown. Keep watching. Okay, here's some of the SRM knives that I've had. I've reviewed this guy. This is the Terrier. This is the, why did I forget the name? The Terrier is the 258 series, 258L, and then it's got the rest of the numbers. This is the larger one. I've reviewed that. You can take a look at that if you want. I've reviewed this guy as well. This is in the metal series. Yeah, that's what it is. So is this guy. But this is the 255L. And I think I will be doing a separate teardown video of just this. Like a teardown and reassembly video about this because of the way the mechanism works and the way they've got this modular system here for the access lock. It's really cool. Somebody asked me to do that. I think I'll probably do that. This is also in the metal series, so this video is coming out, I don't know when, but I still have yet to review this. It comes in two different colorways. Really, really like this knife. Today, we're going to review this guy, as you saw in the intro. This is the Twin. And upcoming, this is a slip joint, the 106M knife, and I did the unboxing for that a while ago. It's taking a while for me to get all my videos out. I've got some health issue stuff going on at the moment, and for various reasons, it's going a little slower than I'd like. But here we are. This guy, I think, came 6 ways. It's right now 4 different ways that you can get this knife, at least from SRM Knives. If you're ordering from a warehouse, if your shipment has to come from China, in February is China's New Year. And so they're actually going to have like a 3-week shutdown in China on their warehouse for shipping. But the American warehouse that has these knives, it's ship next day kind of stuff, or same day even if you buy these knives. So this guy, called the Twin, and it's got a kind of cool look to it. It's very simple looking. This is a carbon fiber insert. It's not a laminate. It's a solid piece of carbon fiber on both sides. We've got their ambi lock, which is a crossbar lock system. And we got a wire pocket clip, steel chassis for the construction system. And look at all this jimping all the way around there. That's the deployment access lock there. So your finger's up on that side of the spine and you deploy the blade like that. And you release the access lock to go to close it. Of course, you can flick it just using the access lock if you want to, and that works just fine. Or you can use that jimping right there. That's actually one con that I have on this knife, and it's a very small con. I would like this jimping to be a little bit more aggressive than it is. I don't know if it has to do with if it needs to come out a little bit further, or the access here be a little bit better, but it's not hard to deploy this knife. So that's a very small complaint, not a big deal at all. We got ceramic ball bearings in there, and I'll do a teardown and show you all that stuff later on in this video. Now, what do we have here for a knife? This is definitely a stabby knife. That's what it's supposed to look like. And I'm not suggesting you're using it to stab people or anything, but it's okay. Because it looks so stabby, it's not really at the forefront of my preference of what I like for my own personal carry knives, but I did carry this for a while, a couple weeks. Most of the time, well, I'm carrying a couple knives, 2, 3 knives all the time, and then I'm playing with them. And I played with this thing, and it cuts quite well. It doesn't get terribly thick terribly quickly. It's fairly thin at the edge. The tip is very, very good for doing like tip work. If you need to open something up, if you need to work on using the tip, it doesn't have an awful lot of belly. It's a fairly flat edge, but the sharpness is decent from the factory, and it performed fairly well indeed. How well does it carry in the pocket? I almost fell off my stool there. Let's show that. I like most wire clips, and like most wire clips, SRM Knives does a great job with their wire clip. It holds well, it looks well, tucks right back in there, and does a good job. So I'm happy with that. Now, there's one thing about this is it's a one-side only pocket clip. And what I found odd about this, like I grew up left-handed, and quickly during my young teen years, my puberty years, I became very ambidextrous. I've got 3 older brothers, and they're all right-handed. And from a poor immigrant family, all our stuff was hand-me-down. So I learned, left-handed, right-handed hockey sticks. There was no left-handed hockey stick available for me. Baseball gloves, what have you. I learned to do most things right-handed. And this thing, if I put it in the pocket with this right side pocket clip, the blade's on, the off side that I usually have, but just reaching in, pulling it out of the pocket, it was ready. And then when I pull it out of the right hand pocket, it works as well. And so I didn't really have much of an issue carrying this on the left side. So, but your mileage may vary indeed. So there's that. The steel, this gray steel finish comes together. Now it doesn't come completely together. Let's deploy this blade again so that, I don't know if you can see through there, but you can see a little bit of light coming through there when the light's just right. This isn't actually, squeezed together along the spine, but it's protecting you from that sharp edge. And if you don't have your hand over top of the blade, you can deploy it, just like any other knife. It works well. It's quite okay for that. Everything's got this chamfered finish on the steel here, and then a rounded finish on the CF, the carbon fiber. See, my brain's not working all right. My brain's in quite of a fog these days. Just it's related to some of the medical stuff that I'm going through. Not complaining about that. Just letting you know. Badging on this knife, we've got a small SRM on the pin here, and then on the blade, another small SRM. Stay ready for more. And that's it for this show side. And the other side here, we've got their N690 up here, and down here we've got the model number, 251 MB-BGR. I forget, but they're all 251 MB- and then a couple letters. And then right there in the fuller, we've got the serial number. So this is what, number 1513? So 1,513 of these have been made at least. There's been more. So yeah, pretty good. I like it. It's comfortable in hand. It's not too terribly heavy. It feels good. And the edge, it's actually a usable knife. Now, this is not actually a great choice if you're looking for a knife for actual, self-defense. In Canada, you can't carry a knife for the purpose of self-defense anyway. But, other countries you're allowed to. Because you don't have an awful lot of protection, that's why it's not that great. You got that little bit of jimping to give you some assistance, but if you jab this into something, I'll just put my cup of tea here, and you come to a sudden stop, your hand is likely to go over that cutting edge, and you're going to cut yourself up, and that's not a good thing. So I don't know how much I'd use it for actual stabbery, even if I could. That being said, it's a good blade design. The price of this knife, well, N690 is really, really valued by a I don't know how big the group of people is, but there's a decent sized group of people who think N690 should be at least borderline within the premium steel classification. I'm not in that group. I think N690 is, should be classified right alongside things like 14C28N, right smack dab in the middle of sort of a mid-grade kind of steel for blade steel. I think it's overpriced is what I'm trying to say. N690 blades tend to be priced a little bit higher than they should be, but there's a group of people that really, really likes it that way. And I'm personally not one of them, but this knife is quite nice. How much does it cost? At most stores, American dollars, it's $79.95 up to $89.95, depending on which version you get. And this version that I have here is $79.95 in most places. White Mountain Knives does not have this knife, but a number of other stores in the United States have it. And of course, SRM's got their own warehouse in the United States, and so you can get it directly from them. I've got a referral link down below with a discount code as well. CCE at SRM Knives will get you a discount. So don't forget to use that discount code when you go to SRM Knives, and that applies around the world. I have not found any store in Canada that has this model, the twin model, 251L, MB, not L, 251 MB. So, it's unfortunate for Canadians. If you import this knife, there's a chance it'll get stopped at the border coming in. Let's do all the sizes, measurements, and all that stuff before I do the teardown. The weight of this thing, mine is 69 grams. That's it. That's what, 2.45 ounces? So that's not super light, but that's a nice light knife. From the factory, the sharpness that I tested on my best tester, got an average score of 200 best on this. Not bad. The cutting edge length is 74.5 millimeters, which is 2.93 inches. But the tip to the closest spot on the handle, right through that fuller, straight back, tiny bit more, 74.9, which is 2.95 inches. The thickness of the blade steel measured up here on the flats, because that's the best place to measure the blade steel, like the part that comes through here. 2.47 millimeters, which is a little bit under 1/10 of an inch, 0.0975 of an inch. So decent. It's nice and thin. It really does slide through stuff quite easily if you do a stabbing kind of motion. The blade depth, that's this measurement, the widest point here, 22.0 millimeters, 0.8667 of an inch. How thick is it behind the grind? It's pretty consistent along its length. I got a 0.47 millimeter measurement, which is 18.5 thousandths. That's why, it cuts and slices fairly well. And, you just have to get through that, and then the blade's getting thinner again, and that helps it as well. The handle length, 101.9 millimeters, which is 4.01 inches. The grip, it's, I'd say, a little over 9 centimeters, a little over 3.5 inches, generally speaking. And the thickness of the handle scales right here in the middle, because it's thickest right down the middle, it's 13 millimeters, 0.511 of an inch. But of course, most of it is less than that half an inch. It's just half an inch right down the middle. The handle depth, that's this measurement. It's also the knife depth for when it goes in your pocket. So just the handle, or with the blade deployed, it's the same measurement. 24 millimeters, 0.945, so just under an inch thick this way. And the total length of this knife when the blade is deployed is right around 176 millimeters, 6.93 inches, so 7 inches. So 3 and a little over 4, or just a little under 4 actually when you get the, because this isn't quite 3, so just under 7. Yeah, 4.01 I said. So yeah, because this is just under 3, the whole thing is just barely under 7 inches. Let's do a little teardown on this thing. The 8 millimeter pin right here. Oh no, that's a 6. Here's my 8 millimeter driver. Let's just take that pin out first. And there's no thread locker on there. And everything else is 8 millimeters. A 6, that one was 8. So let's do the pocket clip here. Now it's a big screw, but that comes off. And there you see how the pocket clip is milled, or the carbon fibers milled for the pocket clip to sit in there. Sits very secure. And again, we've got a good size, flat head screw there. Not a flat driver, the head of the screw is flat. And that T6 there. And there you can see the pin. It's a D-shaped pin. Hopefully you guys can see that. And we've got another T6 over there. But we can also take the crossbar lock apart, and that makes it easier to assemble and disassemble this knife. Actually, I need another T6 on the other side. There we go, a T6 holding it there, and then taking this T6 off here. That helps an awful lot with putting it together and stuff, because we can take that screw out, and well, I should probably take this cover off here too. Actually, I didn't really want to take it all the way apart like this, but I wanted to show you that that screw comes out. This is very light. Actually, I think this is actually aluminum, isn't it? Where's my magnet? Okay, I've got my magnet here, and yeah, it doesn't want to stick. So yeah, I was wrong before when I said this was steel. This is aluminum. It's just way too light. And you see a tiny little pathway perhaps in there for the captured stop pin right there. And let's take this off here. There we go. And, there's the screw for the crossbar lock, and the spring right there as well. And then we've got the thin steel liner, which is very light, and that's going to be magnetic, as you can see. And very light, and it's got a number in there as well. That's different than the serial number there. That's got to be a manufacturing number of some kind. We've got the ceramic ball bearings in there, and there's 3, 6, 9 of them. Pretty small ones. That's okay. And very simple construction. So that's how this thing is made and put together. Whoop, I dropped something. Oh no, there it goes. So yeah, that's how it's constructed. I'm not putting this together on camera for I've got an old video on how to put together and take apart access locks. You can see that, or you can wait until I do this on this one. Since I haven't done that in a lot of years, I think I'll do that again. Let me put this thing back together again and do the summary. A question or two that I'm sure I'm going to get is, well, can't you just move this handle scale to this side to move the pocket clip over it? Well, no, because the hole for the access lock would have to be on both sides for it to be coming over to both sides. See, it's here on the right side. Here. See here, this way it's on the left, but if you flip it over, it's on the right. And so you can't just take it off of here. Hole's the wrong way. So no, it's the one side only. I didn't talk about other things. Yeah, I forgot the blade alignment. Very good. Not perfect, but very good. No blade play, side to side, up and down. I didn't have the pivot pin coming loose while I was using it. It decent. It carried well, and it worked quite well. So to summarize, you got several different colorways, a number of quite varying colorways. Really small badging, which I quite like. Decals are nice and small, and that's very good. The captured stop pin, yeah, not a problem for this kind of knife. I don't mind it that way for this little knife. Lockup and action are quite good. Comfort in hand, very good. And very minor things that I might change is I think I'd make this jimping a little more aggressive, or make the access to it a little bit better. It's not bad. It's just not awesome, and I'd like it to be just awesome. Somebody's going to want a lanyard hole. This knife does not have a lanyard hole. Excuse me. Yeah. Now my voice is going. Oh, I'm just about done. There's no lanyard hole. And like I said, somebody wants a left side pocket clip. Unfortunately, that's not there. And the only other thing is, like I said before, be careful. There is no real hand protection if you do stabby and you end up going, oh, that's not solid. If you end up going into something solid, your hand might just go over that cutting edge. So other cons, Blades Canada, pick this guy up. This is a decent knife. It will sell well in Canada, I am sure. They've got like 66 different SRM knives at Blades Canada, but not this one. House of Knives, they've got some SRM knives as well, not this one either. So my overall thoughts on this thing, this is a decent knife. It's a little bit overpriced for what I want to pay for it, but maybe you do want to pay that much. Who knows? It's up to you. I did talk earlier about a knife sale. Hopefully I'll do it this February still. Like we're in February now. If I'm not too under the weather. Yeah, I've got a medical procedure tomorrow, probably the day you see this on Thursday. So I've got to go, into, it's just an outpatient thing tomorrow. And hopefully that's going to help me feel better. We'll see. And thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum. Oops, yeah, that is a sharp edge. Cut towards your chum, not your thumb.